That's an interesting looking fella, right? He be looking out for me. That's an Indonesian mask. It's interesting, right? Hey everybody. I wanted to follow up on the 10 breath video that I shared last week. Got a pretty good response. People were contacting me about that. And it's just a challenge, but it's also a lesson in observing how the nature of thought affects the physical body. All right, and the breath is always going to come first. And our meditations, the lungs, the first organ that you deal with in order to what's called empty the vessel. Cleansing the lungs of the negativities empties the vessel, and the vessel is the mind. It's how we create empty mind to facilitate more advanced meditative practices. So, sticking with anxiety and breath. Had an incident with my sister-in-law where she was on her way to the hospital thinking that she maybe had COVID-19 or was having an asthma attack. And right as I came to their house, and I took some time to do some more advanced versions of the breathing I showed you last week. And they alleviated the symptoms. So what she experienced, and what I'm sure some of you experienced, and what people are going to experience more in the future as the stress builds, is there's a type of anxiety and induced suffocation that you could experience that, believe it or not, you can actually kill yourself. You can actually die from an anxiety level that's so great. The diaphragm, the organ, the muscle that's responsible for creating the vacuum that pulls air into the lungs, the diaphragm sits between the thoracic and abdominal cavities. The diaphragm is very sensitive to stress. And when the mind is highly anxious, and you can feel it through the solar plexus like a butterfly sensation and a tension in the stomach, the diaphragm freezes up and you're just not breathing at all. There's no breath moving into the body. The body is under-oxygenated. Muscle tension is filled throughout the body, the abdominal region. And it can result in some very, very unpleasant feelings, shortness of breath. And when you go to the hospital, they test your lungs and they don't see anything wrong. There's nothing physically wrong with your lungs. So, with that as the basis of the little lesson I'm going to give today, let's do 10 deep breaths again. The only element we're going to add is your diaphragm is located at about this area here. So I want people to feel along this area for tension. For me, I tend to feel it a little more on this side. And you're going to apply some pressure to wherever you feel the tension most in relation to your diaphragm. And then we'll take the 10 deep breaths. So here we go. I'm pressing into this spot. And now, I think that's 5. I get so relaxed I lose count sometimes. The belching is just tension coming out. Two more. Last one. I know that's a little bit nasty, but you can hear the belching. That's a sign that you've released tension from that trapped region that I talked about. You may belch, you may yawn, you may cry if that's the kind of emotion you're holding on to, but give that a try. 10 deep breaths, applying pressure along the solar plexus region to anywhere where you feel internal tension, and relaxing, of course, as much as possible. And for those of you who have health issues, talk to your doctor first before you maybe get into this, because I don't want anyone to get hurt out there, okay? 10 deep breaths, massaging the diaphragm area for tension as you breathe, keeping in mind that the anxious mind is related to the tension that you may be feeling in the diaphragm, and you're just trying to create a little release, okay? I don't want to overwhelm you with too much, but give it a try, and I'll come back next week and add a little bit more to that. How's that? All right, have a good day.